أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وبدا لهم سيئات ما عملوا وحاق بهم ما كانوا به يستهزئون. وقيل اليوم ننساكم كما نسيتم لقاء يومكم هذا ومأواكم النار وما لكم من ناصرين. ذلكم بأنكم اتخذتم آيات الله هزوا وغرتكم الحياة الدنيا فاليوم لا يخرجون منها ولا هم يستعتبون. فلله الحمد رب السماوات ورب الأرض ورب العالمين وله الكبرياء في السماوات والأرض وهو العزيز الحكيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. حميم. تنزيل الكتاب من الله العزيز الحكيم. ما خلقنا السماوات والأرض وما بينهما إلا بالحق وأجل مسمى والذين كفروا عما أنذروا معرضون. قل أرأيتم ما تدعون من دون الله أروني ماذا خلقوا من الأرض أم لهم شرك في السماوات ائتوني بكتاب من قبل هذا أو أثارة من علم إن كنتم صادقين. ومن أضل ممن يدعو من دون الله من لا يستجيب له إلى يوم القيامة وهم عن دعائهم غافلون.
33. The evil deeds they committed have now become obvious to them, and what they used to mock, God's promised punishment, has overwhelmed them. 34. And it will be said, we are oblivious of you today, so do not hope for forgiveness and favor, as you are oblivious of the encounter of this day of yours, and your lasting refuge will be the fire, and you have no helpers. 35. That is because you used to take all the signs and revelations of God in mockery, and the life of the world deluded you. And so this day they will not be taken out of it, the fire, and no plea will be accepted from them to return to the world, and so they can no longer make amends. 36. And all praise and gratitude are for God, the Lord of the heavens and the Lord of the earth, the Lord of the worlds. 37. And to him belong grandeur and sovereignty in the heavens and the earth, and he is the all-glorious with irresistible might, the all-wise. Surah 46, Al-Ahqaf, Wind-Shaped Dunes. In the name of God, the all-merciful, the all-compassionate. 1. Hamim. 2. This is the book being sent down in parts from God, the all-glorious with irresistible might, the all-wise. We have not created the heavens and the earth and all that is between them, save with truth, meaningfully, for definite purposes, and on solid foundations of truth, and for an appointed term. But those who disbelieve turn away from that day of judgment about which they are warned. 4. Say, do you not consider what those whom you deify and invoke apart from God? Show me what they have created of the earth. Or do they have a share in the creation and maintenance of the heavens? Bring me a book revealed before this one, the Qur'an, or some remnant of knowledge accurately preserved and transmitted if you are truthful in your claims? 5. Who is more astray than one who invokes, apart from God, such as will not make any answer to him until the day of resurrection, and are self-evidently unconscious and heedless of their invocation?
وإذا حشر الناس كانوا لهم أعداء وكانوا بعبادتهم كافرين وإذا تتلى عليهم آياتنا بينات قال الذين كفروا للحق لما جاءهم هذا سحر مبين أم يقولون افتراه قل إن افتريته فلا تملكون لي من الله شيئا هو أعلم بما تفيضون فيه كفى به شهيدا بيني وبينكم وهو الغفور الرحيم قل ما كنت بدعا من الرسل وما أدري ما يفعل بي ولا بكم إن أتبع إلا ما يوحى إلي وما أنا إلا نذير مبين قل أرأيتم إن كان من عند الله وكفرتم به وشهد شاهد من بني إسرائيل على مثله فآمن واستكبرتم إن الله لا يهدي القوم الظالمين وقال الذين كفروا للذين آمنوا لو كان خيرا ما سبقونا إليه وإذ لم يهتدوا به فسيقولون هذا إفك قديم ومن قبله كتاب موسى إماما ورحمة وهذا كتاب مصدق لسانا عربيا لينذر الذين ظلموا وبشرى للمحسنين إن الذين قالوا ربنا الله ثم استقاموا فلا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون أولئك أصحاب الجنة خالدين فيها جزاء بما كانوا يعملون.
6. When all people are raised from the dead and gathered together for judgment, they whom they invoked will be enemies to them and will disown their worshiping them. 7. When our revelations, clear as evidence and in meaning, are recited and conveyed to them, those who disbelieve say of the truth when it reaches them, "This is clearly nothing but sorcery." 8. Or do they say, "He, the messenger, has fabricated it," the Qur'an? Say, "If I have fabricated it, you have no power at all to help me against God. He knows best all that you are busy inventing concerning the Qur'an. He suffices for a witness between me and you. He is the all-forgiving, the all-compassionate." 9. I am no novelty, either in my person or in the message I brought among the messengers, and being human, I do not know, unless God informs me, what will happen in the future in the world, and therefore what will be done to me and to you. I only follow what is revealed to me, and I am only a plain warner. 10. Say, do you ever consider that if this Qur'an is from God and you disbelieve in it, while many a witness from among the children of Israel, those who had knowledge of revelation, had already testified to the like of it, and also believed, whereas you are too arrogant to believe? Is this not plain deviation and wrong? Surely God does not guide the wrongdoing people. 11. Those who disbelieve say of those who believe, as another pretext for their rejection of faith in the Qur'an, if it, the Qur'an, had been something good and useful, those people would not have preceded us in accepting it. And as they, having refused it, have not found guidance through it, they say, this is a fabrication from ancient times. 12. They say so despite the fact that before this there was the book of Moses as a guide and a mercy for the children of Israel. And this Qur'an is a book confirming the truth in earlier scriptures and revealed in Arabic to warn those who commit wrong, and as a good tiding for those devoted to doing good, aware that God is seeing them. 13. Surely those who profess our Lord is God, and then follow the straight path in their belief, thoughts, and actions, they will have no fear, nor will they grieve. 14. They are the companions of paradise, abiding therein as a reward for what they used to do.
ووصينا الإنسان بوالديه إحسانا حملته أمه كرها ووضعته كرها وحمله وفصاله 30 شهرا حتى إذا بلغ أشده وبلغ 40 سنة قال رب أوزعني أن أشكر نعمتك التي أنعمت علي وعلى والدي وأن أعمل صالحا ترضاه أصلح لي في ذريتي إني تبت إليك وإني من المسلمين أولئك الذين نتقبل عنهم أحسن ما عملوا ونتجاوز عن سيئاتهم في أصحاب الجنة وعد الصدق الذي كانوا يوعدون والذي قال لوالديه أف لكما أتعدانني أن أخرج وقد خلت القرون من قبلي وهما يستغيثان الله ويلك آمن إن وعد الله حق فيقول ما هذا إلا أساطير الأولين أولئك الذين حق عليهم القول في قد خلت من قبلهم من الجن والإنس إنهم كانوا خاسرين ولكل درجات مما عملوا وليوفيهم أعمالهم وهم لا يظلمون ويوم يعرض الذين كفروا على النار أذهبتم طيباتكم في حياتكم الدنيا واستمتعتم بها فاليوم تجزون عذاب الهون بما كنتم تستكبرون في الأرض بغير الحق وبما كنتم تفسقون.
15. Now, among the good deeds, we have enjoined on humans the best treatment toward his parents. His mother bore him in pain, and in pain did she give him birth. The bearing of him and suckling of him until weaned is 30 months, when he has finally reached his full manhood and reached 40 years of age, he says, My Lord, arouse me that I may be thankful for all your favors, life, health, sustenance, faith, and submission, and more, that you have bestowed on me and on my parents, that I may do good, righteous deeds with which you will be pleased, and grant me righteous offspring, so that they treat me righteously as I treat my parents. I have turned to you, and I am one of those who have submitted to you. 16. Those are they from whom we will accept their good deeds in a manner to reward them in accordance with the best of whatever they did, and whose evil deeds we will overlook and include them among the companions of paradise. This is a true promise which they have been given here in the world. 17. But there is many a one who says to his parents, who call him to righteousness and faith, Oof to you both, I am fed up with you. Do you threaten me that I will be brought forth from the dead to a new life and judgment, while so many generations have passed away before me, and so far not a single person has ever been raised? And they both pray to God for help in the guidance of their child and say to him, woe to you, believe, God's promise is certainly true. But he says, all this is nothing but fables of the ancients. 18. Such are they upon whom the word of God's punishment is rightly due, as included among the similar communities of the jinn and the humankind before them. Surely they are the ones ruined in loss. 19. For all individuals and groups, there will be degrees of their own according to what they have done, and so God will pay them fully for their deeds, and they will not be wronged. 20. On that day, those who disbelieve will be brought to the fire, and they will be told, you consumed in your worldly life your share of pure, wholesome things, and enjoyed them fully without considering the due of the hereafter, and so have taken in the world the reward of all your good deeds. So this day you are recompensed with the punishment of abasement because of your scornful arrogance on the earth against all right, and because of your transgressing the bounds set by God.
واذكر أخا عاد إذ أنذر قومه بالأحقاف وقد خلت النذر من بين يديه ومن خلفه ألا تعبدوا إلا الله إني أخاف عليكم عذاب يوم عظيم قالوا أجئتنا لتأفكنا عن آلهتنا فأتنا بما تعدنا إن كنت من الصادقين قال إنما العلم عند الله وأبلغكم ما أرسلت به ولكني أراكم قوما تجهلون فلما رأوه عارضا مستقبل أوديتهم قالوا هذا عارض ممطرنا بل هو ما استعجلتم به ريح فيها عذاب أليم تدمر كل شيء بأمر ربها فأصبحوا لا يرى إلا مساكنهم كذلك نجزي القوم المجرمين ولقد مكناهم في ماء مكناكم فيه وجعلنا لهم سمعا وأبصارا وأفئدة فما أغنى عنهم سمعهم ولا أبصارهم ولا أفئدتهم من شيء إذ كانوا يجحدون بآيات الله وحاق بهم ما كانوا به يستهزئون ولقد أهلكنا ما حولكم من القرى وصرفنا الآيات لعلهم يرجعون فلولا نصرهم الذين اتخذوا من دون الله قربانا آلهة بل ضلوا عنهم وذلك إفكهم وما كانوا يفترون.
21. Make mention of Hud, the brother of Ad. He warned his people in Al-Ahqaf, as indeed warners came and went before and after him to warn the peoples, saying, worship none but God alone. I surely fear for you the punishment of an awesome day. 22. They said, have you come to us to turn us away from our deities? If you are truthful in your claims, then bring us what you are threatening us with. 23. He said, the knowledge of when it will come is only with God. I convey to you that with which I have been sent as a messenger, but I see you are a people acting ignorantly. 24. Then, as the events unfolded, they saw that which they were threatened with, as a dense cloud in the sky, advancing toward their valleys, and they said, This is a cloud bringing us rain. No, it is what you have derisively asked to be hastened, a wind bearing a painful punishment. 25, bound to devastate everything by the command of its Lord. And so they became such that nothing was to be seen except their dwellings. Thus do we recompense the guilty people committed to accumulating sins. 26, we had assuredly given them such power and prosperity on the earth that we have not given to you, O Quraysh. And we had appointed for them the faculty of hearing and eyes and hearts, all the means of perception outward and inward. But neither their ears, nor their eyes, nor their hearts availed them anything, as they obstinately rejected God's signs and revelations, and what they used to mock overwhelmed them. 27. We have assuredly destroyed many townships that are around you, and before that we had set out the signs and revelations in diverse ways, so that they might turn back from their wrong ways. 28. So why did those whom they took for deities apart from God, as a means of nearness to God, not help them against God's punishment? Rather, they failed them. That was the end result of their falsehood and all that they used to do to fabricate of slanders against God.
وإذ صرفنا إليك نفرا من الجن يستمعون القرآن فلما حضروه قالوا أنصتوا فلما قضي ولوا إلى قومهم منذرين قالوا يا قومنا إنا سمعنا كتابا أنزل من بعد موسى مصدقا لما بين يديه يهدي إلى الحق وإلى طريق مستقيم يا قومنا أجيبوا داعي الله وآمنوا به يغفر لكم من ذنوبكم ويجركم من عذاب أليم ومن لا يجب داعي الله فليس بمعجز في الأرض وليس له من دونه أولياء أولئك في ضلال مبين أولم يروا أن الله الذي خلق السماوات والأرض ولم يعي بخلقهن بقادر على أن يحيي الموتى بلى إنه على كل شيء قدير ويوم يعرض الذين كفروا على النار أليس هذا بالحق قالوا بلى وربنا قال فذوقوا العذاب بما كنتم تكفرون فاصبر كما صبر أولو العزم من الرسل ولا تستعجل لهم كأنهم يوم يرون ما يوعدون لم يلبثوا إلا ساعة من نهار بلاغ فهل يهلك إلا القوم الفاسقون.
29. We directed a company of the jinn towards you in order that they might listen to the Qur'an while you were reciting of it. When they were present for it, they said to one another, "Be silent and listen." When the recitation finished, they returned to their community as warners. 30. They said, "O our people, we have listened to a book which has been sent after Moses, confirming the divine origin of and truths that are still contained by the revelations prior to it. It guides toward truth and toward a straight road in all matters. O our people," 31. O our people, respond affirmatively to him who calls to God and believe in him. God will forgive you your sins which you have committed so far and save you from a painful punishment. 32. Whoever does not respond affirmatively to him who calls to God, he cannot frustrate God's will on the earth, and no guardian will he have apart from God once God has disowned him. Those who seek to do so are in obvious error. 33. Have they, the unbelievers, not considered that surely God, who has created the heavens and the earth, and never wearied with their creation, is able to bring the dead to life? Certainly he is. He has full power over everything. 34. On the day when those who disbelieve are brought to the fire, they will be asked, "Is this not true?" They will say, "Yes, most certainly, by our Lord." He, God, will say, "Taste the punishment in which you used to disbelieve." 35. So be patient, O messenger, with their rejection of faith and whatever they do, just as those of the greatest steadfastness and resolution amongst the messengers were patient, and do not seek to hasten the judgment on them. The day when they see what they are threatened with, they will feel as if they had not stayed in the world save a short while of the day only. The message has been conveyed. Will then any be destroyed save the people who transgress the bounds in belief and action?
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الذين كفروا وصدوا عن سبيل الله أضل أعمالهم والذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وآمنوا بما نزل على محمد وهو الحق من ربهم كفر عنهم سيئاتهم وأصلح بالهم ذلك بأن الذين كفروا اتبعوا الباطل وأن الذين آمنوا اتبعوا الحق من ربهم كذلك يضرب الله للناس أمثالهم فإذا لقيتم الذين كفروا فضرب الرقاب حتى إذا أثخنتموهم فشدوا الوثاق فإما منا بعد وإما فداء حتى تضع الحرب أوزارها ذلك ولو يشاء الله لانتصر منهم ولكن ليبلو بعضكم ببعض والذين قتلوا في سبيل الله فلن يضل أعمالهم سيهديهم ويصلح بالهم ويدخلهم الجنة عرفها لهم يا أيها الذين آمنوا إن تنصروا الله ينصركم ويثبت أقدامكم والذين كفروا فتعسا لهم وأضل أعمالهم ذلك بأنهم كرهوا ما أنزل الله فأحبط أعمالهم أفلم يسيروا في الأرض فينظروا كيف كان عاقبة الذين من قبلهم دمر الله عليهم وللكافرين أمثالها ذلك بأن الله مولى الذين آمنوا وأن الكافرين لا مولى لهم.
Surah 47, Muhammad. In the name of God, the All-Merciful, the All-Compassionate. 1. Those who disbelieve and bar people from God's way, God will render all their deeds vain. 2. While those who believe and do good, righteous deeds, who believe in what has been sent on Muhammad, it is the truth from their Lord. He will blot out from them their evil deeds, which will otherwise prevent their achievement of their goals in both worlds, and set their hearts fully aright and improve their conditions both in this world and the next. That is because those who believe follow falsehood in their beliefs, thoughts, and actions, while those who believe follow the truth from their Lord. Thus God expounds to people what they are like. 4. So when you meet those who disbelieve in war, smite at their necks without giving them the opportunity to defeat you. At length, When you have sufficiently suppressed them without continuing fighting, bind a firm bond of captivity on them, then set them free either as a favor without demanding anything in return, or for ransom, which may consist of a reciprocal exchange of prisoners of war, so that the war may lay down its burdens and come to an end. That is God's command. Had God so willed, he would certainly exact retribution from them himself, but he orders you to fight in order to try you by means of one another. As for those who are killed in God's cause, he will never render their deeds vain. 5. Rather, he will guide them to the realization of their goal in both worlds and set their conditions right for them. 6. And he will admit them into paradise, that he will have made completely known to them. 7. O you who believe, if you help God's cause by striving in his cause, he will help you and make your feet firm so that you are steadfast in his cause and ultimately victorious. 8. But those who disbelieve, collapse, and perdition are their lot, and he will render all their deeds vain. 9. This is because they are averse to that which God has sent down, and so he causes their deeds to go to waste. 10. Have they not traveled about the earth and seen what the outcome was for those who came before them and persisted in associating partners with him and in all kinds of transgression? God brought utter devastation upon them, and the unbelievers now, the like of their fate awaits. 11. This is because God surely is the guardian of those who believe, but those who disbelieve have no guardian acceptable in God's sight, and who can help them against him?
إن الله يدخل الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار والذين كفروا يتمتعون ويأكلون كما تأكل الأنعام والنار مثوى لهم وكأي من قرية هي أشد قوة من قريتك التي أخرجتك أهلكناهم فلا ناصر لهم أفمن كان على بينة من ربه كمن زين له سوء عمله واتبعوا أهواءهم مثل الجنة التي وعد المتقون فيها أنهار من ماء غير آسٍ وأنهار من لبن لم يتغير طعمه وأنهار من خمر لذة للشاربين وأنهار من عسل مصفى ولهم فيها من كل الثمرات ومغفرة من ربهم كمن هو خالد في النار وسقوا ماء حميما فقطع أمعاءهم ومنهم من يستمع إليك حتى إذا خرجوا من عندك قالوا للذين أوتوا العلم ماذا قال آنفا أولئك الذين طبع الله على قلوبهم واتبعوا أهواءهم والذين اهتدوا زادهم هدى وآتاهم تقواهم فهل ينظرون إلا الساعة أن تأتيهم بغتة فقد جاء أشراطها فأنى لهم إذا جاءتهم ذكراهم فاعلم أنه لا إله إلا الله واستغفر لذنبك وللمؤمنين والمؤمنات والله يعلم متقلبكم ومثواكم.
12. God will admit those who believe and do good righteous deeds into gardens through which rivers flow. As for those who disbelieve, they take their enjoyment and consume God's bounties just as cattle consume, without considering who has given them to them and what they are expected to do in return, and with no sense of the life to come. and the fire will be their dwelling, fitting for them. 13. How many a township there has been, greater in power and more abundant in wealth than your township, which has driven you out, O messenger. We destroyed them, and they had no helper against us. 14. Is then the one who is standing upon a clear evidence from his Lord, like him whose evil deeds are decked out, to be appealing to him, and those who follow their lusts and fancies? 15. A likeness of paradise, which the God revering, pious, or promised, is this. In it are rivers of water incorruptible, in taste, smell, and color, and rivers of milk, whose taste never changes, and rivers of wine, delicious for the drinkers, and rivers of pure, clean, clear honey. And in it there are also fruits of every kind for them, as well as forgiveness from their Lord to bring unforeseen blessings. Are those who will enjoy all this like those who will abide in the fire and be given boiling water to drink, so that it rends their bowels? 16. Among them, the people of Medina, are some who give ear to you, but when they go out from your presence, they ask with arrogance and derision, those who have been given some knowledge of the truths of the religion, what has he said just now? Those are they whose hearts God has sealed and who follow their lusts and fancies. 17. As for those who have accepted God's guidance, he strengthens them in guidance through deeper knowledge and submission, and gives them piety and protection from sinning. 18. Do they who persist in unbelief and evil deeds wait but for the last hour, waiting that it come upon them all of a sudden? Now indeed its portents have already come. But how can it benefit them to take admonition when the last hour has already come upon them? 19. Then know, bear in mind that there is no deity but God, and ask forgiveness for your lapses, and for the believing men and believing women. God knows from which inner state and social condition to which state and condition you do and will move, in which state and condition you will be steady.
ويقول الذين آمنوا لولا نزلت سورة فإذا أنزلت سورة محكمة وذكر فيها القتال رأيت الذين في قلوبهم مرض ينظرون إليك نظر المغشي عليه من الموت فأولى لهم طاعة وقول معروف فإذا عزم الأمر فلو صدقوا الله لكان خيرا لهم فهل عسيتم إن توليتم أن تفسدوا في الأرض وتقطعوا أرحامكم أولئك الذين لعنهم الله فأصمهم وأعمى أبصارهم أفلا يتدبرون القرآن أم على قلوب أقفالها إن الذين ارتدوا على أدبارهم من بعد ما تبين لهم الهدى الشيطان سول لهم وأملى لهم ذلك بأنهم قالوا للذين كرهوا ما نزل الله سنطيعكم في بعض الأمر والله يعلم إسرارهم فكيف إذا توفتهم الملائكة يضربون وجوههم وأدبارهم ذلك بأنهم اتبعوا ما أسخط الله وكرهوا رضوانه فأحبط أعمالهم أم حسب الذين في قلوبهم مرض أن لن يخرج الله أضغانهم.
20. Those who believe look forward to a new surah conveying knowledge of divine truths and God's new commandments being sent down, and say, if only a new surah were sent down. But when a decisive surah has been sent down in which fighting is mentioned, clearly as a commanded duty, you see those in whose hearts there is disease looking at you with the look of one swooning to death. That is, in fact, what is expected of them. 21. Yet what true believers are expected to do in response to any divine order is to render obedience and a proper word. So if they were true to God, when the command has been resolved and it calls them to do what their pledge to God requires of them, it would certainly be good for them. 22. But is it to be expected of you, O hypocritical ones, that you break your promise and turn away from God's commandments and cause disorder and corruption in the land and sever the ties of kinship? 23. Such are they whom God has cursed, excluded from his mercy, and so he has made them deaf and blinded their eyes to the truth. 24. Do they not meditate earnestly on the Qur'an, or are there locks on their hearts that are particular to them, so that they are as if deaf and blind and incapable of understanding the truth? 25. Surely those who have turned back as apostates after God's guidance has become clear to them, Satan has seduced them. He has implanted in them long-term worldly ambitions. 26. This is because they have said to those who are averse to what God has sent down, we will follow you in some issues. God knows their secrets. 27. So how will it be when the angels take their souls at death, striking their faces and their backs? 28. This is because they have followed what incurs God's wrath, condemnation, and are averse to what pleases him. And so he has caused all their previous good deeds to go to waste. 29. Or do those in whose hearts is a disease think that God will not bring to light their spite against the divine religion and its followers?
ولو نشاء لرأيناكهم فلعرفتهم بسيماهم ولتعرفنهم في لحن القول والله يعلم أعمالكم ولنبلونكم حتى نعلم المجاهدين منكم والصابرين ونبلو أخباركم إن الذين كفروا وصدوا عن سبيل الله وشاقوا الرسول من بعد ما تبين لهم الهدى لن يضروا الله شيئا وسيحبط أعمالهم يا أيها الذين آمنوا أطيعوا الله وأطيعوا الرسول ولا تبطلوا أعمالكم إن الذين كفروا وصدوا عن سبيل الله ثم ماتوا وهم كفار فلن يغفر الله لهم فلا تهنوا وتدعوا إلى السلم وأنتم الأعلون والله معكم ولن يتركم أعمالكم إنما الحياة الدنيا لعب ولهو وإن تؤمنوا وتتقوا يؤتكم أجوركم ولا يسألكم أموالكم إن يسألكموها فيحفكم تبخلوا ويخرج أضغانكم ها أنتم هؤلاء تدعون لتنفقوا في سبيل الله فمنكم من يبخل ومن يبخل فإنما يبخل عن نفسه والله الغني وأنتم الفقراء وإن تتولوا يستبدل قوما غيركم ثم لا يكونوا أمثالكم.
30. Had we so willed, we would have shown them to you, and you would have known them by their marks, visible on their faces. But you certainly know them by the false tone and rhythm of their speech. God knows, O humankind, your deeds and why and how you do them. 31. And we will most certainly try you so that we may mark out those among you who strive hard in God's cause with their persons and their wealth, and those who are steadfast on his path and patient through adversities, and test your record of assertions and deeds for truth and quality. 32. Those who disbelieve and bar people from God's way and defy the messenger after God's guidance has become clear to them, they will never be able to harm the cause of God, and he will cause their deeds to go to waste. 33. O you who believe, obey God in all his commandments and obey the messenger in his execution of God's commandments and in his own directives, and do not let your deeds go to waste. 34. Those who disbelieve and bar people from God's way and then die unbelievers, God will never forgive them. 35. So, when in warfare with the enemy, do not be faint of heart and cry out for peace, which will bring you humiliation when you have the upper hand. Always bear in mind that God is with you, and he will never diminish the reward of your good deeds. 36. The present worldly life is nothing but play and pastime. If you truly believe and keep from disobedience to him, in reverence for him and piety, he will grant you your rewards and will not ask you of your wealth. 37. If he should ask it of you and press you to give it, you would covet and withhold, and he would bring out your suppressed resentments. 38. You are surely those called upon to spend of your wealth in God's cause. Yet amongst you are some who are niggardly. But whoever is niggardly only to the depriving of his own soul. God is the all-wealthy and self-sufficient, absolutely independent of any need, and you are the poor in need of him. If you turn away from true faith and piety, he will substitute in your stead another people, then they will not be like you.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنا فتحنا لك فتحا مبينا ليغفر لك الله ما تقدم من ذنبك وما تأخر ويتم نعمته عليك ويهديك صراطا مستقيما وينصرك الله نصرا عزيزا هو الذي أنزل السكينة في قلوب المؤمنين ليزدادوا إيمانا مع إيمانهم ولله جنود السماوات والأرض وكان الله عليما حكيما ليدخل المؤمنين والمؤمنات جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار خالدين فيها ويكفر عنهم سيئاتهم وكان ذلك عند الله فوزا عظيما ويعذب المنافقين والمنافقات والمشركات الظانين بالله ظن السوء عليهم دائرة السوء فغضب الله عليهم ولعنهم وأعد لهم جهنم وساءت مصيرا ولله جنود السماوات والأرض وكان الله عزيزا حكيما إنا أرسلناك شاهدا ومبشرا ونذيرا لتؤمنوا بالله ورسوله وتعزروه وتوقروه وتسبحوه بكرة وأصيلا.
Surah 48, Al-Fath, in the victory. In the name of God, the all-merciful, the all-compassionate. 1. We have surely granted you a manifest victory, which is a door to further victories. 2. That God may forgive you, O Messenger, your lapses of the past and those to follow, and complete his favor on you. and guide you to steadfastness on a straight path, leading to God's being pleased with you and eternal happiness. 3, and that God may help you to a glorious, mighty achievement. 4, He it is who sent down his gift of inner peace and reassurance into the hearts of the believers so that they might add faith to their faith. To God belong the hosts of the heavens and the earth, and God is all-knowing, all-wise. And that he may admit the believing men and believing women into gardens through which rivers flow, therein to abide, and may blot out from them their evil deeds. That is a supreme triumph in God's sight. 6, and that he may punish the hypocritical men and hypocritical women, and the men and women who associate partners with God, who always entertain evil thoughts about God. Theirs will be the evil turn of fate. God has destined them to a severe punishment, eternally excluded them from his mercy, and prepared hell for them. How evil a destination to arrive at. 7, to God belongs the hosts of the heavens and the earth. God is all glorious with irresistible might, all wise. 8, surely we have sent you as a messenger, as a witness to the truth of Islam and the falsehood of other ways, and as a witness in both worlds to people's deeds, and as a bearer of glad tidings, of prosperity in return for faith and righteousness, and a warner against consequences of misguidance. 9, and in order that you, O humankind and jinn, believe in God and his messenger and support his cause, and hold God in the highest regard, and glorify him in the early morning and in the evening, that is day and night.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الذين يبايعونك إنما يبايعون الله يد الله فوق أيديهم فمن نكث فإنما ينكث على نفسه ومن أوفى بما عاهد عليه الله فسيؤتيه أجرا عظيما سيقول لك المخلفون من الأعراب شغلتنا أموالنا وأهلنا فاستغفر لنا يقولون بألسنتهم ما ليس في قلوبهم قل فمن يملك لكم من الله شيئا إن أراد بكم ضرا أو أراد بكم نفعا بل كان الله بما تعملون خبيرا بل ظننتم أن لن ينقلب الرسول والمؤمنون إلى أهليهم أبدا وزين ذلك في قلوبكم وظننتم ظن السوء وكنتم قوما بورا ومن لم يؤمن بالله ورسوله فإنا أعتدنا للكافرين سعيرا ولله ملك السماوات والأرض يغفر لمن يشاء ويعذب من يشاء وكان الله غفورا رحيما سيقول المخلفون إذا انطلقتم إلى مغانم لتأخذوها ذرونا نتبعكم يريدون أن يبدلوا كلام الله قل لن تتبعونا كذلكم قال الله من قبل فسيقولون بل تحسدوننا بل كانوا لا يفقهون إلا قليلا
Brother Radwan, are you here? Brother Radwan?
I'm sorry, have I been on mute?
Oh, yes. Could you start over on verse 10, please?
My apologies.
Yeah, no
10.
problem.
Those who swear allegiance to you, O messenger, swear allegiance to God only. God's hand is over their hands. Whoever then breaks his oath only to his own harm. And whoever fulfills what he has covenanted with God, he will grant him a tremendous reward. 11. Those of the Bedouins, dwellers of the desert, who did not respond to your call to participate in the minor pilgrimage campaign and stayed behind will say to you by way of excuse, our possessions and families kept us busy, so ask God for our forgiveness. They speak with their tongues that which is not in their hearts. Say to them, who is there that can intervene on your behalf with God if he wills harm for you or if he wills a benefit for you? Whatever excuse you offer, bear in mind that God is fully aware of all that you do. 12. Indeed, you thought that the messenger and the believers would never return to their families from the campaign, and this thought was decked out to be appealing in your hearts, and you entertained an evil thought that God would not help the believers and they would be defeated. You, in thinking so, have proved yourselves to be, and you are a people useless and doomed to perish. 13. Whoever does not believe and trust in God and his messenger, then we have surely prepared a blaze for the unbelievers. 14. To God belongs the sovereignty of the heavens and the earth. He forgives whom he wills and punishes whom he wills. God is all forgiving, all compassionate. 15. When you, O believers, set forth for the campaign during which they think you are sure to take gains of war, those who stay behind aforetime will say, let us go with you. They desire to alter to God's decree. Say to them, you will by no means come with us. That decision regarding you is what God had declared before. Then they will say, rather you are jealous of us. But the fact is that they are lacking in discernment and understanding, except for a very little.
قل للمخلفين من الأعراب ستدعون إلى قوم أولي بأس شديد تقاتلونهم أو يسلمون فإن تطيعوا يؤتكم الله أجرا حسنا وإن تتولوا كما توليتم من قبل يعذبكم عذابا أليما ليس على الأعمى حرج ولا على الأعرج حرج ولا على المريض حرج فمن يطع الله ورسوله يدخله جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار ومن يتولى يعذبه عذابا أليما لقد رضي الله عن المؤمنين إذ يبايعونك تحت الشجرة فعلم ما في قلوبهم فأنزل السكينة عليهم وأثابهم فتحا قريبا ومغانم كثيرة يأخذونها وكان الله عزيزا حكيما وعدكم الله مغانم كثيرة تأخذونها فعجل لكم هذه وكف أيدي الناس عنكم ولتكون آية للمؤمنين ويهديكم صراطا مستقيما وأخرى لم تقدروا عليها قد أحاط الله بها وكان الله على كل شيء قديرا ولو قاتلكم الذين كفروا لولوا الأدبار ثم لا يجدون وليا ولا نصيرا سنة الله التي قد خلت من قبل ولن تجد لسنة الله تبديلا
16. Say to those of the dwellers of the desert who stayed behind, soon you will be called to fight against a people of great military power. Then either you will fight against them or they will submit to God and become Muslims. If you obey, God will grant you a handsome reward. But if you turn away as you turned away before, he will punish you with a painful punishment. 17. There is no blame on the blind, nor any blame on the lame, nor any blame on the sick for staying away from a war in God's cause. Whoever obeys God and his messenger in the religious duties he is charged with and can carry out, God will admit him into the gardens through which rivers flow. But whoever turns away, he will punish him with a painful punishment. 18. God was assuredly well pleased with the believers when they swore allegiance to you under the tree. He knew what was in their hearts of sincere intention and loyalty to God's cause, and therefore he sent down the gift of inner peace and reassurance on them, and rewarded them with a near victory. 19. And much in gains of war that they will take, and God is all glorious with irresistible might, all wise. 20. God has promised you abundant gains of war that you will take later, and these he granted you as present reward for your obedience and purity of intention. And he has restrained the hands of other hostile people from you, so that it may be a sign for the believers concerning the truth of their way and God's promises to them, and that he may guide you to steadfastness on a straight path. 21. And there are yet other gains which you have not been able to acquire, but God has encompassed in his knowledge and power, and will grant you. Surely God has full power over everything. 22. If the unbelievers of Mecca had fought against you, instead of signing the treaty with you at Hudaybiyah, they would certainly have turned their backs in flight. Then they would have found no protecting guardian or helper to rescue them. 23. It is God's way that is continued ever so from the past. You will never find any change in God's way.
وهو الذي كف أيديهم عنكم وأيديكم عنهم ببطن مكة من بعد أن أظفركم عليهم وكان الله بما تعملون بصيرا هم الذين كفروا وصدوكم عن المسجد الحرام والهدي معكوفا أن يبلغ محله ولولا رجال مؤمنون ونساء مؤمنات لم تعلموهم أن تضؤوهم فتصيبكم منهم معرة بغير علم ليدخل الله في رحمته من يشاء لو تزينوا لعذبنا الذين كفروا منهم عذابا أليما إذ جعل الذين كفروا في قلوبهم الحمية حمية الجاهلية فأنزل الله سكينته على رسوله وعلى المؤمنين فأنزل الله سكينته على رسوله وعلى المؤمنين وألزمهم كلمة التقوى وكانوا أحق بها وأهلها وكان الله بكل شيء عليما لقد صدق الله رسوله الرؤيا بالحق لتدخلن المسجد الحرام إن شاء الله آمنين محلقين رؤوسكم ومقصرين لا تخافون فعلم ما لم تعلموا فجعل من دون ذلك فتحا قريبا هو الذي أرسل رسوله بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله وكفى بالله شهيدا.
And he it is who restrained their hands from you and your hands from them in the valley of Mecca after he had granted you victory over them. Surely God sees well all that you do. 25. God defeated them because they are the ones who have disbelieved and who barred you from visiting the sacred mosque and prevented the offerings from reaching their destination. And had there not been in Mecca believing men and believing women whom you did not know and therefore might have trodden down, and thus something undesired might have afflicted you on their account for what you did unknowingly, God would not have restrained your hands from fighting. But he restrained your hands so that he might admit to his mercy whom he wills, by sparing the believers in Mecca and enabling many among the Meccans to embrace Islam in time. If they, the believers and unbelievers in Mecca, had been clearly separated, we would certainly have punished those among them who disbelieved with a painful punishment. 26. When those who disbelieved harbored in their hearts fierce zealotry coming from egotism, tribalism, and feuding, the zealotry particular to the age of ignorance, God sent down his gift of inner peace and reassurance on his messenger and on the believers, and bound them to the word of faith, piety, and reverence for God. They were most worthy of it and entitled to it. And God has full knowledge of everything. 27. God has assuredly confirmed the vision for his messenger as true and will certainly fulfill it in reality. You will certainly enter the sacred mosque if God wills, in full security, with your head shaven or your hair cut short, and you will have nothing to fear. But he always knows what you do not know, and therefore, without allowing you to enter the mosque this year, granted you a near victory before this. 28. He it is who has sent his messenger with the divine guidance and the religion of truth, that he may make it prevail over all religious. God suffices for a witness for the truth of his promise and the mission of his messenger.
محمد رسول الله والذين معه أشداء على الكفار رحماء بينهم تراهم ركعا سجدا يبتغون فضلا من الله ورضوانا سيماهم في وجوههم من أثر السجود ذلك مثلهم في التوراة ومثلهم في الإنجيل كزرع أخرج شطأه فآزره فاستغلظ فاستوى على سوقه يعجب الزراع ليغيظ بهم الكفار وعد الله الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات منهم مغفرة وأجرا عظيما. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تقدموا بين يدي الله ورسوله واتقوا الله إن الله سميع عليم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا ترفعوا أصواتكم فوق صوت النبي ولا تجهروا له بالقول كجهر بعضكم لبعض أن تحبط أعمالكم وأنتم لا تشعرون. إن الذين يغضون أصواتهم عند رسول الله أولئك الذين امتحن الله قلوبهم للتقوى لهم مغفرة وأجر عظيم. إن الذين ينادونك من وراء الحجرات أكثرهم لا يعقلون.
Surat al-Hujurat, the private apartments. 1. O you who believe, in the name of God, the All-Merciful, the All-Compassionate. 1. O you who believe, do not be forward in the presence of God and his messenger, and keep from disobedience.
Brother Ridwan, there is a verse on the page, top of the page, before Surah Al-Hujurat starts.
Yes.
Could you read from there, please? 29.
Starting from 29.
Yes, that last Al-Fatih. then Hujurat. Thank you.
Thank you. 29. Muhammad is the messenger of God, and those who are in his company are firm and unyielding against the unbelievers, and compassionate among themselves. You see them constant in the prayer, bowing down and prostrating, seeking favor with God and his approval and good pleasure. Their marks are on their faces, traced by prostration. This is their description in the Torah and their description in the Gospel, like a seed that has sprouted its shoot. Then it has strengthened it, and then risen firmly on its stem, delighting the sowers with joy and wonder, that through them he fills the unbelievers with rage. God has promised all those among them who believe and do good, righteous deeds, forgiveness to bring unforeseen blessings and a tremendous reward. Surat al-Hujurat, the private apartments. In the name of God, the All-Merciful, the All-Compassionate. 1. O you who believe, do not be forward in the presence of God and his messenger, and keep from disobedience to God in piety and reverence for him. Surely God is the all-hearing, all-knowing. 2. O you who believe, do not raise your voices above the voice of the Prophet, nor speak loudly when addressing him, as you would speak loudly to one another, lest your good deeds go in vain without your perceiving it. 3. Those who lower their voices in the presence of God's messenger, those are they whose hearts God has tested and proven for piety and reverence for him. For them there is forgiveness to bring unforeseen rewards and a tremendous reward. 4. Those who call out to you from behind the private apartments, which you share with your wives, and most of them do not reason and understand and are therefore lacking in good manners.
ولو أنهم صبروا حتى تخرج إليهم لكان خيرا لهم والله غفور رحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا إن جاءكم فاسق بنبأ فتبينوا أن تصيبوا قوما بجهالة فتصبحوا على ما فعلتم نادمين واعلموا أن فيكم رسول الله لو يطيعكم في كثير من الأمر لعنتم ولكن الله حبب إليكم الإيمان وزينه في قلوبكم وكره إليكم الكفر والفسوق والعصيان أولئك هم الراشدون فضلا من الله ونعمه والله عليم حكيم وإن طائفتان من المؤمنين اقتتلوا فأصلحوا بينهما فإن بغت إحداهما على الأخرى فقاتلوا التي تبغي حتى تفيء إلى أمر الله فإن فاءت فأصلحوا بينهما بالعدل وأقسطوا إن الله يحب المقسطين إنما المؤمنون إخوة فأصلحوا بين أخويكم واتقوا الله لعلكم ترحمون يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا يسخر قوم من قوم عسى أن يكونوا خيرا منهم ولا نساء من نساء عسى أن يكن خيرا منهن ولا تلمزوا أنفسكم ولا تنابزوا بالألقاب بئس الاسم الفسوق بعد الإيمان ومن لم يتب فأولئك هم الظالمون.
Five. Instead of shouting to you to come out to them, they had been patient until you came out to them. It would certainly have been better for them in respect of the manners due to you from them. However, God is all forgiving, the all compassionate, especially towards his believing servants, and may forgive ill manners arising from ignorance. O you who believe, if some transgressor brings you news that requires taking action, verify it carefully before you believe and act upon it, lest you harm a people in ignorance and then become regretful for what you have done. 7. Always bear in mind that God's messenger is among you, so that you have a duty to refer decisions to him. If he were to follow you in many affairs of public concern, you would surely be in trouble and suffer loss. But God has endeared the faith to you, O believers, and made it appealing to your hearts, and he has made unbelief, transgression, and rebellion hateful to you. Those are they who are rightly guided in belief, thought, and action. As a grace from God and a favor, God is the all-knowing, all-wise. 9. If two parties of believers call to fighting, make peace between them and act promptly. But if one of them aggressively encroaches the rights of the other, then fight you all against the aggressive side until they comply with God's decree concerning the matter. If they comply, then make peace between them with justice and be scrupulously equitable. Surely God loves the scrupulously equitable. 10. The believers are but brothers, so make peace between your brothers and keep from disobedience to God and reverence for him and piety, particularly in your duties toward one another as brothers, so that you may be shown mercy, granted a good, virtuous life in the world as individuals and as a community, and eternal happiness in the hereafter. 11. O you who believe, let not some people among you deride another people. It may be that the latter are better than the former, nor let some woman deride other women. It may be that the latter are better than the former. No, nor defame one another, and provoke the same for yourselves in retaliation, nor insult one another with nicknames that your brothers and sisters dislike. Evil is using names with vile meaning, after those so addressed have accepted the faith. Doing so is like replacing a mark of faith with the mark of transgression. Whoever does that and then does not turn to God in repentance, giving up doing so, those are indeed wrongdoers.
يا أيها الذين آمنوا اجتنبوا كثيرا من الظن إن بعض الظن إثم ولا تجسسوا ولا يغتب بعضكم بعضا أيحب أحدكم أن يأكل لحم أخيه ميتا فكرهتموه واتقوا الله إن الله تواب رحيم يا أيها الناس إنا خلقناكم من ذكر وأنثى وجعلناكم شعوبا وقبائل لتعارفوا إن أكرمكم عند الله أتقاكم إن الله عليم خبير قالت الأعراب آمنا قل لم تؤمنوا ولكن قولوا أسلمنا ولما يدخل الإيمان في قلوبكم فإن تطيعوا الله ورسوله لا يلتكم من أعمالكم شيئا إن الله غفور رحيم إنما المؤمنون الذين آمنوا بالله ورسوله ثم لم يرتابوا وجاهدوا بأموالهم وأنفسهم في سبيل الله أولئك هم الصادقون قل أتعلمون الله بدينكم والله يعلم ما في السماوات وما في الأرض والله بكل شيء عليم يمنون عليك أن أسلموا قل لا تمنوا علي إسلامكم بل الله يمن عليكم أن هداكم للإيمان إن كنتم صادقين إن الله يعلم غيب السماوات والأرض والله بصير بما تعملون.
12. O you who believe, avoid much suspicion, for some suspicion is a grave sin, liable to God's punishment. And do not spy on one another, nor backbite against one another. Would any of you love to eat the flesh of his dead brother? You would abhor it. Keep from disobedience to God in reverence for him and piety. Surely God is one who truly returns repentance with liberal forgiveness and additional reward, all compassionate, particularly towards his believing servants. 13. O humankind, surely we have created you from a single pair of male and female and made you into tribes and families so that you may know one another and so build mutuality and cooperative relationships, not so that you may take pride in your differences of race or social rank and breed enmities. Surely the noblest, most honorable of you in God's sight is the one best in piety, righteousness, and reverence for God. Surely God is all-knowing, all-aware. Some of the dwellers of the desert say, "We believe." Say to them, "You have not believed. Rather, you should say, 'We have submitted to the rule of Islam, for faith has not yet entered your hearts.' But if you obey God and his messenger, he will not hold back anything of his reward, of the reward for your good deeds. Surely God is all forgiving, all compassionate." 15. Only those who are the believers who have truly believed in God as the unique deity, Lord and sovereign, and believed in his messenger, including all that he has brought from God, then have never since doubted the truth of what they have testified to, and who strive hard with their wealth and persons in God's cause. Those are they who are truthful and honest in their profession of faith. 16. If those desert dwellers still insist on thinking of themselves true believers, say, "What? Would you teach God how truly you are devoted to your religion while God knows all that is in the heavens and all that is on the earth? God has full knowledge of everything." 17. They impress it on you as their favor to you that they have submitted to the rule of Islam and thereby put you under an obligation to them. Say, "Do not count your being Muslims as a favor to me, nor seek to put me under an obligation. The religion does not belong to me, but to God only. It is indeed God who has conferred a favor upon you, inasmuch as he has shown you the way to faith, if you are truthful in your profession of being Muslims, those who have submitted to God." 18. Surely God knows the unseen of the heavens and earth, all that is beyond human sense, perception, and knowledge in them, and God sees well all that you do.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قاف والقرآن المجيد بل عجبوا أن جاءهم منذر منهم فقال الكافرون هذا شيء عجيب أإذا متنا وكنا ترابا ذلك رجع بعيد قد علمنا ما تنقص الأرض منهم وعندنا كتاب حفيظ بل كذبوا بالحق لما جاءهم فهم في أمر مريج أفلم ينظروا إلى السماء فوقهم كيف بنيناها وزيناها وما لها من فروج فالأرض مددناها وألقينا فيها رواسي وأنبتنا فيها من كل زوج بهيج تبصرة وذكرى لكل عبد منيب ونزلنا من السماء ماء مباركا فأنبتنا به جنات وحب الحصيد والنخل باسقات لها طلع نضيد رزقا للعباد وأحيينا به بلدة ميتا كذلك الخروج كذبت قبلهم قوم نوح وأصحاب الرس وثمود وعاد وفرعون وإخوان لوط وأصحاب الأيكة وقوم تبع كل كذب الرسل فحق وعيد أفعينا بالخلق الأول بل هم في لبس من خلق جديد.
Surah 50, Off. In the name of God, the All-Merciful, the All-Compassionate. 1. Off. By the Qur'an most sublime. We have indeed, in spite of what they say, sent it to you to warn people that they will be raised from the dead to account for their lives. 2. But they deem it strange that a warner from amongst them has come to them, and the unbelievers say, this is something strange. 3. When we have died and become dust, you say we will be raised from the dead? This is a far-fetched return. 4. We know for certain, whatever the earth corrodes of them to the most minute particle, with us there is a book recording and preserving incorruptibly. 5. Rather, they have denied the truth when it has come to them, and done so willfully and persistently, so they are in a dire state, utterly confused about how to explain their rejection and about how to prevent the acceptance of others. 6. But do they then never observe the sky above them to ponder our knowledge and power and reflect how we have constructed it and adorned it, and that there are no rifts in it? 7. And the earth, we have spread it out and set therein firm mountains and caused to grow thereon every lovely pair of vegetation. 8. All this is a means of insight and reminder for every servant of God willing to turn to him in contrition. 9. And we send down from the sky blessed water, with which we cause to grow gardens and grains to harvest. 10. And tall and stately date palms with ranged clusters. 11. As a provision for the servants. And we revive with it a dead land. Even so will the dead be raised and come forth from their graves. 12. Before them the people of Noah denied, and the companions of Arras and the Thamud. 13. And the Ad and Pharaoh, and the people among whom Lot was sent as a messenger. 14. And the companions of Al-Aika, and the people of Tubba. Every one of them denied the messengers, and my threat was duly fulfilled. 15. What? Did we show failure and weariness in the first creation, that we will not be able to repeat creation after its destruction? Rather, knowing that it could never be so, they are in a tangle of thought and argument about a new creation after the destruction of the old.
ولقد خلقنا الإنسان ونعلم ما توسوس به نفسه ونحن أقرب إليه من حبل الوريد إذ يتلقى المتلقيان عن اليمين وعن الشمال قعيد ما يلفظ من قول إلا لديه رقيب عتيد وجاءت سكرة الموت بالحق ذلك ما كنت منه تحيد ونفخ في الصور ذلك يوم الوعيد وجاءت كل نفس معها سائق وشهيد لقد كنت في غفلة من هذا فكشفنا عنك غطاءك فبصرك اليوم حديد وقال قرينه هذا ما لدي عتيد ألقيا في جهنم كل كفار عنيد مناع للخير معتد مريب مناع للخير معتد مريب الذي جعل مع الله إلها آخر فألقياه في العذاب الشديد قال قرينه ربنا ما أدغيته ولكن كان في ضلال بعيد قال لا تختصموا لدي وقد قدمت إليكم بالوعيد ما يبدل القول لدي وما أنا بظلام للعبيد يوم نقول لجهنم هل امتلأت وتقول هل من مزيد وأزلفت الجنة للمتقين غير بعيد هذا ما توعدون لكل أواب حفيظ من خشي الرحمن بالغيب وجاء بقلب منيب ادخلوها بسلام ذلك يوم الخلود لهم ما يشاءون فيها ولدينا مزيد.
16. Assuredly, it is we who have created human, and we know what suggestions his soul makes to him. We are nearer to him than his jugular vein. 17. Remember that the two recording angels appointed to record his speech and deeds, seated on the right and on the left, receive and record. 18. Not a word does he utter, but there is a watcher by him, ever present. 19. And the stupor of death comes in truth, being the established decree of God for life. That is, O human, what you were trying to escape. 20. And in time the trumpet will be blown. That is the day when God's threat will be fulfilled. 21. And every person will come before the Supreme Court with one angel driving and one angel bearing witness. 22. Indeed, you were in heedlessness of this, and now we have removed from you your veil, so your sight today is sharp. 23. And the witnessing angel who accompanies him says, this is his record that I keep ready with me. 24. The sentence is pronounced, you too throw into hell everyone persistent in unbelief, obstinate in rejecting the truth. 25. Who impedes the doing of good, preventing himself and others, and who exceeds all bounds of right and decency, and who is lost in doubts and implants doubts in others. 26. Who sets up another deity besides God, so cast him into the severe punishment. 27. His companion, the devil who accompanied him in the world and seduced him into evil, will say, our Lord, I did not cause him to rebel and transgress, but he himself was far astray. 28. God will say, do not dispute with each other in my presence. I had warned you of this day before. 29. And the decree from me will not be changed, and I am in no wise one who wrongs my servants. 30. On that day we will say to hell, are you filled to the full? And it will say, are there yet more to come? 31. And paradise will be brought near for the God-revering, pious, not any longer is it far. 32. This is what was promised for you, for everyone who is penitent, careful in keeping his duties to God. 33. Everyone who stood in awe of the All-Merciful, though unseen, beyond their perception, and has come with a heart contrite and devout. 34. Now enter it in peace, secure from any trouble or distress. That is the day of immortality. 35. Therein will be for them everything that they desire, and in our presence there is yet more.
وكم أهلكنا قبلهم من قرن هم أشد منهم بطشا فنقبوا في البلاد هل من محيص إن في ذلك لذكرى لمن كان له قلب أو ألقى السمع وهو شهيد ولقد خلقنا السماوات والأرض وما بينهما في 6 أيام فما مسنا من لغوب فاصبر على ما يقولون وسبح بحمد ربك قبل طلوع الشمس وقبل الغروب ومن الليل فسبحه وأدبار السجود فاستمع يوم ينادي المناد من مكان قريب يوم يسمعون الصيحة بالحق ذلك يوم الخروج إنا نحن نحيي ونميت وإلينا المصير يوم تشقق الأرض عنهم سراعا ذلك حشر علينا يسير نحن أعلم بما يقولون وما أنت عليهم بجبار فذكر بالقرآن من يخاف وعيد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والذاريات ذروا فالحاملات وقرا فالجاريات يسرا فالمقسمات أمرا إنما توعدون لصادق وإن الدين لواقع.
"36. How many a generation we have destroyed before them, who were mightier than these in prowess and overran other lands. But was there any place of escape for them when God's punishment became due? Is there ever?" 37. Surely in that is a warning reminder for anyone who has a heart that is truly alive and who gives ear to the one conveying this reminder with eyes able to see well. 38. We assuredly created the heavens and the earth and all that is between them in 6 days, and nothing of fatigue touched us. 39. So with confident reliance on our promise and power, bear with patience whatever they say, and glorify your Lord with his praise before the rising of the sun and before its setting, and during some part of the night to glorify him, and after the prostrations. 41. And wait with ears able to hear for the day when the caller will call out from a place near. 42. The day when they will hear the blast in truth as a predetermined decree of God that must happen. That is the day of the coming forth when the dead will be raised from their graves. 43. Surely it is we who give life and cause to die, and to us is the homecoming. 44. That day the earth will be rent asunder away from them, and they, hurrying out of it, will come to the gathering. That will be a gathering easy for us. 45. We know best whatever they say, and you, O messenger, are not one to compel them to faith. So remind and warn by the Qur'an him who fears my threat. Surah 51, Adh-Dhariyat, the scatterers. In the name of God, the all-merciful, the all-compassionate. 1. By those that like winds scatter far and wide. 2. And those that like clouds bear heavy burdens. 3. And those like ships that run with gentle ease. 4. And those angels who distribute by command of God his provision of rain and innumerable other blessings. 5. What you are promised is most certainly true. 6. The last judgment is bound to take place.
والسماء ذات الحبك إنكم لفي قول مختلف يؤفك عنه من أفك قتل الخراصون الذين هم في غمرة ساهون يسألون أيان يوم الدين يوم هم على النار يفتنون ذوقوا فتنتكم هذا الذي كنتم به تستعجلون إن المتقين في جنات وعيون آخذين ما آتاهم ربهم إنهم كانوا قبل ذلك محسنين كانوا قليلا من الليل ما يهجعون وبالأسحار هم يستغفرون وفي أموالهم حق للسائل والمحروم وفي الأرض آيات للموقنين وفي أنفسكم أفلا تبصرون وفي السماء رزقكم وما توعدون فورب السماء والأرض إنه لحق مثل ما أنكم تنطقون هل أتاك حديث ضيف إبراهيم المكرمين إذ دخلوا عليه فقالوا سلاما قال سلام قوم منكرون فراغ إلى أهله فجاء بعجل سمين فقربه إليهم قال ألا تأكلون فأوجس منهم خيفة قالوا لا تخف فبشروه بغلام عليم فأقبلت امرأته في صرة فصكت وجهها وقالت عجوز عظيم قالوا كذلك قال ربك إنه هو الحكيم العليم.
7. By the heaven full of braided pathways, for the movement of angels and celestial objects, for the sending down of God's commands, and for the ascent of the diverse supplications of conscious beings by speech or act or need. 8. Surely you are in contradicting views about the Qur'an and how to describe it. 9. Whoever has been deluded from it, the Qur'an, is first self-deluded, turning away from the right way in thought, belief, and action. 10. Be away from God's mercy, the liars building on conjecture. 11. Who are quite heedless of truth in an abyss of ignorance. 12. They ask, when is the day of judgment? 13. The day when they will be tormented over the fire. 14. Taste your torment that you have brought upon yourselves. This is what you in mockery would ask to be hastened. 15. As for the God revering, the pious, they will be in gardens and springs. 16. Taking whatever their Lord grants them, for they were before that devoted to doing God's commands, aware that God was seeing them. 17. They used to sleep but little by night, although almost never missing the tahajjud prayer. 18. And in the hour of early dawn, they would implore God's forgiveness. 19. And in their wealth, the poor who had to beg and the destitute who did not beg out of shame had due share, a right they gladly honored. 20. On the earth there are clear signs of God's oneness as Lord and sovereign for those who seek certainty. 21. And also in your own selves, will you then not see the truth? 22. And in the heaven there is your provision and what you were promised. 23. Then by the Lord of the heaven and the earth, this promise is as much a fact conveyed to you as that you speak. 24. Has there come to you report of Abraham's honored guests? 25. They presented themselves before him and bade in peace. He said, in returning their greeting, peace, and thought, a people unknown. He withdrew to his household and brought a roast of fatted calf. 27. He placed it before them and said, will you not eat? 28. And when he saw that they did not eat, he became apprehensive of them. They said, do not be apprehensive. They gave him the glad tidings of the birth of a son to be endowed with profound knowledge. 29. Then his wife came forward, groaning, and struck her forehead, saying, how shall I bear a child, being a barren old woman. 30, they said, thus has your Lord decreed. Surely he is the all-wise, the all-knowing. Sadaqallahu al-Azim.